Welcome to Season 4 of the Community Collective Podcast. Let's jump right into today's interview.
Well, hello, and welcome to a brand new edition of the Community Collective Podcast. I am Travis Howell, the Executive Director of the Davison Area Chamber of Commerce, and my partner, Johnny B. Good, and I have been taking some turns doing the podcast interviews and recordings, and he tagged me and said, "Hey, Travis, it's your turn." But in reality, it's still summertime, so we're both very busy with kids, enjoying time with them. But I am really excited. You know, nothing says relaxing and just enjoying yourself like picking up a good book and reading it. If you're me, a book can last a really long time since I'm a slow reader. My wife, on the other hand, is a very fast reader, so she'll get quite a few books to just enjoy relaxing in the evenings or when it's nice weather, go outside. So today's guest, I think, is going to be really exciting for anyone out there that's looking for that new book that they want to pick up that they've never read before. We have Betsy Gist from Turn the Pages Used Books right here in Davison. Betsy, how are you today?
Good morning. Thank you for the invite to participate in this with you.
Yes, no, I was very excited. I know you and your husband have been very busy. I mean, you have a long history of love of books, and you finally took that big step and did a brick and mortar. And I feel it's always busy, and you always see people that are stopping by. So that's why I was really excited that you had some time today to talk about the motivation and the excitement that's building around your old store, even though you guys were already sharing your passion of books with people everywhere already. So, you know what? We'll keep it nice and simple. Let's start off with, can you share the story behind starting your bookstore and the vision you had for the community?
Sure. So, Craig, my husband, had started our online eBay store before he and I even met. It was in an effort to help his boys learn about business and finance, and it was something fun for them also. I have always been a huge reader, tons of books everywhere, just since I was a child. As he and I met and got to know each other and got to the point where we were then engaged, and I had moved here from Ohio, we combined quite a collection of books, and it was something I wanted to be a part of with him, with the boys as well. And it has grown, and I can't even explain to you the magnitude of how much it's grown in just the last 2 months since we opened our Davison store.
Right. So now, kind of tell me, I know when I kind of started first into you all were setting up at, uh, um, like I know at one time it was the Downtown Development Authority organizes a market in the alley, and you guys were set up there, and I was able to talk to you guys a lot more. But I've been following you guys on social media and seeing what you're doing. So, kind of like what convinced you guys, start setting up at places? Because you guys are also, if I believe right, are you down in Canterbury Village as well?
We are, yes, although I do
Okay.
feel the store's been a little neglected down there recently because we've been so busy with this. But so let's start with having our own brick and mortar store. That's always been a huge dream of Craig's. Not that it wasn't for me, but to be able to give him the opportunity to realize that dream has meant so much to me. But we decided, right, well, about 2 years ago, we decided we really want to try and grow this. We're not getting any younger. Let's just do this. And so about a year ago, I stepped away from my healthcare career so that we could really focus on the business, growing our eBay store. We did start doing the pop ups. We did the market in the alley all last summer here in Davison. We've had some events at the Agitated Grape, locally, and even in Ohio, we've had a few. So we wanted to kind of gauge the excitement of, that people may have if we did open a store. And it was a good opportunity also to get to know some really incredible people. You being one of them, Jessica Brown, just quite a few people who have really been supportive of us and help share what we have grown. So the pop-ups were getting to be kind of tough because there's so many different options for genres and what people may be looking for. But then we started talking maybe August, September-ish to Jim and Becky Pastor, who owned the Wooden Tulip at Canterbury Village. And they had opened an entire new floor of their building that they call their uh, uniques area. And so we put a little place in there and sort of watched that grow and learned a lot from that and decided, okay, well, now about the only thing that we have left to do, well, other than Craig probably trying to franchise us, is put a store here in Davison. So we looked at a few places and, just there wasn't really anything that was everything that we were looking for, maybe is what I'd like to say. And then as we continued to look, we found this location on Davison Road, and it was so much of what we were looking for. It's got busy traffic flow, it's got foot traffic, it's got some restaurants around it, it faces the road. So we decided, let's do this. And we spent some time working really hard on getting ready to open. And I think we kept thinking we need to perfect it a little bit more. And finally, we were just like, one Saturday, we said, this is it. We're going to be open by Friday for a soft opening. And it's pretty much been busy from there.
Wow. You know what? And it's something that, I mean, I would admit our family's extremely excited. My wife loves to read, and we've always talked about the one thing Davison has really been missing is having a bookstore. So when you guys announced your opening, I told her she was extremely excited about it. So, and I know there's that. I mean, with how busy you guys have been, I'm sure we weren't the only ones. It seems you guys have such a welcoming atmosphere when you walk in there. And I know you have outdoor seating now. And I think you're making that kind of hometown feel in there. And I love that. And to the fact that the history of that Craig really wanted to start the kind of the book business originally to teach us kids about business and how to run it. And then when you guys met and shared that passion, so it's such a great story on how you guys got started with it all and how it's grown. And I think that one thing that a lot of people are probably curious about, if they haven't had a chance to stop by and they're listening, what are some of the unique features or collections does your bookstore offer that distinguish it from others and that you guys really work hard to draw in these book lovers to visit?
I feel like our store provides more of an experience. I've tried really hard to make it that welcoming, clean atmosphere, peaceful. We have a strong emphasis on gratitude, appreciation, kindness, positive mental health, and taking time for yourself, but also continuing to give to others as much as you can at the same time. And so that's what I feel is most different about our store. It isn't just books. It's also when I see people walk through the door, even in just 2 months, it's gotten to the point that I'm not just seeing customers, I'm seeing friends. We've gotten to know so many incredible people and what they might like, what we can help them find. And some people just stop in. I'll have people stop in. They're like, oh, we weren't looking for anything today. We just wanted to stop in. And I'm starting to love that. But we also have events and we have kids' reading circles and we're continuing to grow those so that way we do have those families who want to come in or the kids have been asking all day to go to turn the page.
And I love that focus, that experience coming in, but especially we've had a couple people on the podcast have talked about the importance of mental health awareness and finding avenues to really just help people out through those. And I feel you mentioning that books are an amazing way to do that. And especially if you go into a welcoming place, like turn the pages there, and can talk to you all and find something just to help them feel comfort and relax. And that really does, I think, really help mental health too, is just that quiet time of reading, but going into a great place that cares about their community. And I think that's what makes you all so unique. I think a lot of Davison businesses offer that place that cares, or you're talking to your neighbors. And I think you guys are really doing a great job of bringing people from other communities, but they always feel welcome. And I think that's a great example of showing what Davison is about. Your passion for it is really shown, but I feel like you guys have other reasons you're doing it. And like you mentioned, that experience of coming in, the mental health, and just finding new areas to get families and kids involved. I know for us, I mean, we have younger kids, and we always try to emphasize the importance of reading, whether with a teenager, sometimes it's the cool thing, sometimes it's not. But our son loves when we read with him. So that age that we're cool parents, you guys are finding so many new ways to do it. But can you kind of go on a little bit more? Tell us more about the kids reading circles, or what are some other programs you guys maybe are thinking about in the future that you'd like to host?
Sure, I would love to because we have a lot going on that I want to share. I do want to begin by saying I have been beyond humbled by the Davison community. I'm not a Davison girl. I've only been here full time for 3.5 ish years, but this community is amazing. Um, I'm so beyond appreciative of the people who share our story or who support us or have helped us get up and running. Just, it's been a really neat experience. And so that's another reason that we love giving back. But so we do have a lot of events going on. We started the If You Give a Mouse a Cookie series. If you're not familiar with it, there's more than just what happens when you give a mouse a cookie. And so we've been reading those books all summer. I actually had Tracy Bennett, you may know her from the Davison school system, reach out to us.
Yes.
Yeah, she asked if she could help participate. She asked if she could read to the kids. Um, I'm like, absolutely.
Yes.
So Wednesday mornings at 10, Wednesday evenings at 7, and Saturday mornings at 10, we have our kids reading circles, trying to identify those families that, maybe have time during a weekday morning, but also the ones who, have traditional 9 to 5 jobs, trying to get dinner ready, be the kids' things, and still would like to have the opportunity to enjoy that. So that's why we have the evening one also. Tracy does a great job reading to the kids, and they just love her. It works out well for everyone. If You Take a Mouse to School is our book for the week. I thought that was a perfect book to end summer break, but it just happened. That's just how it goes in the series. So what we do is Tracy reads to the kids. Sometimes we have little activities for them. She typically has at least a coloring page to hand them, and then they have a little snack. If we gave a moose a muffin, then we have muffins. Give a mouse a cookie, we had cookies. It just makes it fun for them, and it's been neat to watch that grow over the summer and have different families attend maybe each week, or they bring their friends the next week. We're
Yeah.
doing here we're doing Harry Potter bingo at 7 p.m. on Thursdays for our little bit older kids who still would like something to do. So we have that. Those are every week. Beginning after Labor Day, I will be rolling out our book clubs that we're going to begin. So I've got some ideas for those. Don't want to give them all away. You have to stop in the store to find out more or keep your eyes on our social media because we'll be sharing that soon. This weekend, we have our long awaited, it's called Tortured Poets and Pages Day. It's our Taylor Swift event. We've had quite a bit of excitement in the community about
Oh,
that.
yes. Yeah.
That is from 1 to 4 on Saturday. Tickets are $25 each, but those get you your own swag bag.
Well, and then we bought one of the pillows when we were in. And our daughter has it in her room, and she was extremely excited about it. So yes,
It's I'm not a huge Swiftie, but it's exciting for me to see the level of just pure joy on some people's faces when they walk in and see our Taylor Swift things and that we're going to be having our day. There's a link on our Facebook page to Eventbrite to purchase those, or just stop in the store and I'll get those for you.
yeah.
But I'm
Well, and
looking forward to seeing what our turnout is. I think it's going to be great. We're going to have our friendship bracelet making station and a Eras inspired photo booth.
and I think Betsy, I love that there's such a wide variety of things for ages too. I will say my favorite book in the one series is If You Give a Dog a Donut.
Oh,
It,
you just missed that.
we have read those books to our kids over the years, and my wife is an elementary school teacher, and she has really littles, and so those books are a fun way to really engage them, and the kids really do enjoy that. But I think I love that there's activities that go along with a lot of them. And but you guys
I
are
thought you were
also,
going to say snack for
well,
the
that was the
kids.
next one. The snacks, yes. But I think too that you're being flexible with when you're offering it for the families that, work, and that way they can make sure they're getting included. Because I know a lot of times it's hard to do that. And I think that also makes it easier for anybody, no matter how what age their kid is. But then also, yeah, Harry Potter bingo, and then doing something with Taylor Swift. So you really do have a variety of opportunities for all ages. And it's not just come in and buy a book, but it's engaging them and building, I think, that excitement around reading and showing them that there's a lot more than just picking up a book and reading it, that you can engage and get activities and snacks with it all. So I think I don't know how you're so creative with all these, you and Craig, because I know I could not come up with it. I'd be like, here's a book.
It is just after spending so much of my life as a hospital social worker, you learn to think outside of the box to solve a lot of your patients' dilemmas. So we've really had to think outside of the box with this
Yes.
so that we can keep drawing in, different people from different places. We will be having, it's called Books, Boards, and Blooms, also a unique event. That's August 31st. And I have some ladies who own a charcuterie board making business. They're going to come in and do a class. So each individual person will get to make their own charcuterie board.
Oh,
And
yes.
then I'm not sure if you've been by our store recently to see our new bloom bar,
I
fresh
have
cut
not.
flowers. Yes, we have fresh cut flowers from Andrea Sumner at Goats and Blooms. And you can make your own bouquet as
Oh,
well.
wow. Well, and even thinking of bouquets, you do something really unique, and you do a book bouquet as well as something people can buy as gifts for teachers or friends. That's-
Mhm.
Yes. And I love that idea because not only is you're offering flowers, but you have this gift that is very unique, and it is decorative looking, but it's full of books. And
It is.
how does that work? I mean, how does someone, if they want to do like a book bouquet as well, do they just reach out and say, "Hey, our
Sure.
friends are interested in this type of series," or
Yep. So that's what we have done. So in the past with our book bouquets, huge hits for Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. And like you said, teacher gifts, whatever gifts. I mean, something just different. We maybe ask what genre, or can you get me that person's Goodreads so I can see what they have read, what's on their to be read. And we have made those, and prices, vary on dependent on books and how many. But then also we started to have our build your own book bouquet table at the store, but we just happen to be running out of room there already with all that we have to offer. So we do have an area where if you would like to make it yourself, you can. If you want to bring in a couple friends, we can always give you time after the store closes and make it a fun little event. So those are all options there too, but you'll be seeing those come back here soon, especially with Sweetest Day rolling around.
Yes. So now, one thing you mentioned is eBay store where people can also go online and find books that they're interested in. But can you, Betsy, kind of help us understand how has the rise of digital media and ebooks affected your bookstore? But how have you all adapted to these changes in the reading landscape? How have you guys really worked hard to get people in the store as well as work on kind of social media and online sales?
So our online sales have definitely, you could see the impact that us opening the store and just the increasingly spreading word of mouth has drawn people to that. And I feel like everything on our eBay store, some of it may be actually in the store and some of it may still be here at the house. I feel like we see a lot more of our nonfiction that's being sold on our eBay store versus in the actual Davison location, and that more of like a general fiction, historical fiction, that's more, we see more of that definitely um in our actual physical stores. And I think because of the population that each of the different ones reaches, I feel like you have people who are looking and searching for a definite specific book who are purchasing on our eBay store, whereas people who come into the physical locations, they might have a whole plethora of things that they're looking for, or just general authors or things of that nature. Our social media, even in our private lives, Craig has always been more of the one to post things. And before we opened the store, he was still doing our Facebook posts, and we had my daughter doing our Instagram, and we had been keeping them a little different. And then as things sort of grew, I took over for the store Facebook page, since I was going to be the one who was there and was going to be doing our marketing for the day. And then also have been working really hard on getting back to our Instagram page and sharing the same things on there, because that's typically where our younger population is getting their information. And I've loved to see just the older teens, young 20s who come in looking for books or who love the classics. We had a lot of people tell us, or ask, I should say, do people even still read? You're opening a bookstore in a terrible economy currently, and people, I can't even imagine they're reading that much. And I've had to explain that no, I feel like Book Talk and Bookstagram have really brought a love of reading back to younger people.
And I feel like
Personally,
with and Betsy, I feel like with your store, you guys, I don't know, definitely talk about like a hard economy and people looking at their budgets. But I think part of your all's thing is like affordability. When you go into it, I mean, they're used books, but I know I've bought one and my wife's bought a couple. They're in great shape, but great prices. So they're very in this time, it makes sense to read. I think books are one of those things that stays consistent and works into a family's budget. And you guys are great with offering so many areas.
sure
If someone wants to find your page on eBay, what's the name of the page on eBay for you guys?
it is actually, I'm going to tell you here, I'm going to pull it up, but you can also link to it on our Facebook page. You can link to the store. You may even be able to on our Instagram. Yeah. So you're able to link to it from there.
And your all's Facebook page is nice and simple.
Yep. And it's Gist Juice Books on our Instagram.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just very easy. And you can, yes, link to it on our Instagram store or Instagram page as well. And it is ebay.com/STR backslash turn the page used books.
Perfect. Nice and easy. So I think really the emphasis on walking into your store, but also I think if from talking to you all, if you don't have it in the actual store, chances are you guys might have it online or stored someplace where you can find it for someone as well if there's a certain book they're looking for.
Correct. We are able to do that. And then we've also been working really hard at if our customers are looking for something in particular, doing what we can to get that in for them also within a few days, a good price, and I'll call them or shoot them a text or a message when we do get it in. And we've been able to really help a lot of people out. I have one older gentleman, his sister works in the complex that we're in. He was looking for a book, a specific book he had when he was younger that he had given to someone. It was on Corvairs from 1960 to 1967, perhaps. He wanted that book, and so we were able to find it for him and get it in, and he he was ecstatic over that.
That's great. And when we're kind of talking about how to find you all, you talked about eBay and Facebook. Your brick and mortar is in Davison. Do you have the address for people that are looking for you guys for the very first time?
Of course I do. It's 9009 Davison Road here in Davison, right in between M15 and Irish Road. If you're coming from M15, it's going to be on your right-hand side, right before you get to the VG's Plaza.
Yeah, look for the VG's Plaza, and it's right next door to that. Um, so
Huge, tons of parking. We're going to be using that parking lot for even more fun things here coming up.
yes. So now here's a really interesting question. A lot of times when I talk to someone that owns a bookstore or I go into a bookstore, and this is what I'm curious with you, as a bookstore owner, can you share a few of your personal favorite books and maybe some good recommendations for our listeners?
Sure. So my very favorite book, Rebecca Yarros is a very popular author right now with her Fourth Wing series, which is um, more of a fantasy genre. But she has written some general fiction books. And I think my favorite book, and I'm not an emotional person, I was sobbing after this book, is The Last Letter. Don't be surprised if people see that as one of our first book club books to kick off our clubs. Also, I would say, and these are old ones, I've actually recommended them to a few people recently and just hold on to copies that are James Patterson books, but not your typical James Patterson. Sam's Diary, or no, Suzanne's Diary for Nicholas and Sam's Letters to Jennifer. Those are two separate books, very popular years ago, maybe, but not so much anymore by clearly a very popular author. And so I sometimes like to share those with people as well. You can't go wrong with To Kill a Mockingbird and some of the classics. Kristen Hanna would maybe be one of my more favorite authors. I feel like she's many people's. I shouldn't say most people's. I would say she, Colleen Hoover, and Frida McFadden are our most popular authors. I get something in the store by them, I can't hardly keep it in there. Same with Sarah J. Moss. She writes fantasy, and I had to learn very quickly that she was perhaps more popular than Taylor Swift when we opened the store. But those are all some ones that I have had to find creative ways to get those books into our store, especially in a shape that we would like to see them to resell them. Because as you mentioned, we try to only sell very clean, pristine items to our customers.
Yes. Well, and Betsy, you've shared so much great information. And it actually reminded me, I finally finished a book that I bought from you guys. You mentioned I'm a slow reader. So I know I need to come in there myself and find my next book. But really, anyone that's listening, if you're really looking for that book that'll help finish up the summer or getting fresh flowers or a book bouquet, Turn the Pages used book is such a great place to visit. and once again, talk about a welcoming atmosphere. So, Betsy, I really do appreciate you taking the time just to share your passion for books and creating an atmosphere for families, even for individuals coming in, just to help out with that kind of welcoming experience, helping their mental health, and just showing how many opportunities there are, like in events and activities for all ages. So I would say if someone that's listening hasn't had a chance to stop in, check it out here in Davison on Davison Road. But check out their Facebook, especially. I think you guys do a lot of great stuff on there just to let people know what's going on. So turn the pages, use books. Betsy, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Community Collective podcast. And we love what you guys are doing in the community and just really emphasizing the importance of reading.
Yes, and if you haven't been in with us, please do come in so we can, at least show you everything that we've been working on. It's a fluid process, I feel like. What I didn't get to mention is you said you had finished your book, and so you're going to need to come back in. We do have a program that is our redemption program. We have the opportunity that we can bring books in from our customers and earn them free books themselves.
Oh, so people can bring them in to you guys and you'll look at them and see a value and they could do like a trade or get like kind of like redemption points towards other books that they're interested in.
Yes, we have a punch card program.
Okay.
So when somebody brings me a quality hardcover that's going to sell, they get 2 punches on their card. 1 punch for a paperback. When you get to 10 punches, you get a free book. Now, this is one of the ways that I've had to be creative. If I'm running low on a certain author or genre, sometimes I may just post at, let's say, 2 o'clock. From 2 to 6, if you bring me Colleen Hoover books or Frida McFadden books or of a certain genre, I'll give you double or triple punches. Or whoever brings me the most books from this author wins a $25 movie gift card or a
Oh,
turn the page gift card. I've even done baskets. So yes.
wow. It's you guys really are creative and finding out ways to get people to come in and to read. And I love it. I might be a slow reader, but I know the value of reading and reading
You're
for
not as
kids.
slow as you think. It's only been 2 months, Travis.
I know. I've had some time when I can read, and it's been really nice and actually kind of relaxful and kind of my quiet time that I get each night to do that. So, well, Betsy Gist, thank you so much for just sharing your passion for reading, for getting other people and families and kids all to come in and find that book that they're going to be passionate about and just have fun reading. So, thank you so much for coming on the Community Collective podcast today.
Thanks for having me. I love chatting with you, Travis.